About 2 months ago now, We Happy Few, an upcoming survival game with a big emphasis on story, was banned by the Australian Classification Board. The reason for the decision was due to the game containing what they call drug use related to incentives and rewards. This means that due to the game containing some drug use, and despite the extremely strong anti-drug message the game has, the game was seen as promoting using drugs and so should be banned. But as mentioned, the game's entire narrative is about the drugs being a bad thing for you that you shouldn't do. Due to this, the game's developers appealed the decision, a process that cost $10,000, and for the first time in history for a game banned due to drug use, managed to get the decision overturned. We now have information about why the game was unbanned from both the Classification Board as well as Gearbox's legal team, and this video will go into why the game was unbanned and then some of the far-reaching effects this has already seen for the video game industry. To begin with Gearbox, We Happy Few's publisher, whose legal representative has wrote a detailed write-up on the appeal process and the methods they used to argue that the game shouldn't be banned. This report, which goes into the applicable law for why the game was banned, is pretty lengthy, but can be boiled down to a few different points. The first argument for the game not facing restrictions was the importance of context. The legal representative argued that due to the overwhelmingly strong anti-drug message that the game has, this should be taken into account. They even say that the Classification Board's own guidelines explicitly mention the importance of context. This line is straight from the Australian Classification Board. Context is crucial in determining whether a classifiable element is justified by the storyline or themes. In particular, the way in which important social issues are dealt with may require a mature or adult perspective. This means that material that falls into a particular classification category in one context may fall outside it in another. The second point was the game's literary, artistic, and educational merit. Comparing it to classic novels like Brave New World, A Clockwork Orange, 1984, Brazil, and Fahrenheit 451, the legal representative argues that works like these play an important role in public and social discourse, and the process of opinion forming. He also speaks about their educational merit, and questions why these novels are allowed to be read in schools, yet a game like this is being banned. Further arguments were made around the game's unrealistic setting and style, saying that realistic elements are considered to have a greater impact than unrealistic elements, and that the game's sci-fi and abstract style should fall under the latter. And then lastly, the legal representative once again picks apart the Australian law and highlights that any game that overall and clearly condemns the use of drugs should not be refused classification, and that this is strongly backed up by the already existing law. To summarize, Gearbox's legal representative seems to have gone through the law with a fine-tooth comb and has found huge holes in the way this was handled. We Happy Few shouldn't have been banned, and any games like this in the future shouldn't be banned either. The Classification Board's reason for the reversal isn't anywhere near as in-depth, but they have stated, the premise of this computer game is for the playing characters to escape a fictional town where the inhabitants are in a state of government-mandated euphoria and memory loss. Although the non-playing characters appear to be happy due to their continual use of the joy drug, the computer game quickly establishes that this state is undesirable and the playing characters are on a quest to avoid the use of the joy drug. The actual use of the fictitious drug as a game progression mechanic questions the viability of such a gameplay decision at each stage and level. The character's action in taking the drug is usually the only viable option given, and while it may enable the character to pass a stage and level of the game, the benefit is short term and is followed by a loss of memory and a reduction in health points, the depletion of the body and or withdrawal symptoms. As earlier mentioned, this decision has already made huge strides for change in the Australian video game industry. Not only has the decision created a bold precedent for future games, but the Classification Board has even confirmed that they are now in talks about updating the current system. Speaking to Kotaku Australia, the board has said, the department is currently examining how the national classification scheme can be modernised. The department has commenced discussions with the states and territories, which are joint partners in the national classification scheme, and will consult extensively with industry stakeholders and community organisations. This is huge news for gamers, and it is very possible that far fewer games will now be refused classification in the future. As always, Censored Gaming will be here to keep you up to date on all things censorship, and will be sure to let you know of any new developments. If this is something you are interested in, please consider subscribing to the channel, and until next time, thank you for watching.